Good morning, traders. So how do we trade the DAX this morning? So starting off with the daily, we've still got quite a bit of confusion. So you can see we had two indecision days in a row, and then we had a doji. In other words, sort of basically what we've been told here is that the bears were in control at the start of the day, and then the bulls took control of the day, and the bulls basically had control of yesterday. So that's the first time in basically this week where the bulls have taken control. Now this has led itself to a few interesting setups, and the first one being this level here, which we were bouncing off 2 days. This is the third day that we've bounced off this level, and that coincides with the moving averages. Okay, so these two moving averages are a 26 on the red and a 9, and they're both smooth moving averages. Okay, and you can see that we're about to get a crossover, could possibly get a crossover today. The oscillators themselves pretty much in neutral territory at the moment. We did touch the Bollinger here, but we've come off, so we're still in neutral territory. So only when we start getting up over the 100 that you start getting worried. Okay, so let's just get down to the 4 hours. So what we have here is we had a great rally. We've then had quite a long pullback, and what we need to do here is just do that. So we've had this channel, and we could argue that we've had a close outside the channel. We've had an inside bar here. The thing that's putting me off is that we have had a crossover of the moving averages. So, to me, I would expect a pullback of sort, and probably not going to be that big of a pullback. It wouldn't surprise me if it just really comes back sort of to test that area there, which would basically be the top of the range break. Oh, sorry, channel break. So we've had a single crossover here in the 4 hour. We're at the bottom of the Bollinger, and we haven't had a crossover yet. So there's nothing really telling me that we're moving to the upside. So I'm still expecting another bit of a pullback, which should give us our second signal. But looking at the 4 hour, there's been nothing the last couple of 4 hours candles. So that's 3, 6, 9, 10. So the last 10 4-hour candles, there hasn't really been anything except consolidation. Okay, so let's get down to the hour, and you'll see it a bit clearer here. And there is our channel. Now, the interesting part is we've had a crossover of the moving averages on the hour. You can see how red was above green for pretty much the last almost 2 days. And then going into the close, we got an hour bar above. Okay, so if you were watching price action yesterday, you would have seen this pin bar, and it would have been worthwhile of taking a stab at this. If I look to the left, you can see here's an inside bar, and there is another inside bar. So this candle here bouncing off it, then you got this inside bar basically with engulfing. There was your first pattern, and there was your second signal there, that pin bar. So that would have given you confidence to be long. Okay, I was playing the DAX, so it didn't really pick it up. So I was playing the down of the DAX. So I wasn't watching this, but if you were watching this and you got in, there's no reason to get out of this at the moment. It was a little bit volatile going up and a bit topsy-turvy, but the point remains that we have managed to close above the top of the channel, and that is on the 4 hour. Okay, so what are we going to be doing today? So I think yesterday's rules still apply. Okay, sorry, before we get to that, let's just get to the half hour here. So yesterday we had a gap up and then a move down. So what I said to you yesterday was watch these two fractal levels. So this fractal level here and this fractal level here. So we had a gap up, but then the minute we had this gap down at the open, you knew all bets were off, because that there is an island reversal, okay? And it would have been confirmed with the close of this half-hour bar here, which is still the range. Okay, so you would have been stopped out of this trade. You're not going to get all of them right. But yeah, I was expecting this bottom here to play out, which didn't work. So if you look at the half hour, you can see bottom, double bottom. And look at the stochastics, crossed over and pointing up. So there was your signal for a long. Okay. Yeah. So this little thing here, and I don't even think it would have triggered you because we gapped up above it. So I would have expected us to come back to this area if it didn't really come back. But anyway, so from a half-hour perspective, it is long and you're staying long. If you're not in on this, like me, you're looking for a setup, and the setup will be any form of pullback to come and test this channel break, all this moving average on the half hour, and to hold it. Your stop level is going to be below this fractal. Okay, so that's that. Let's just have a quick look at the ichimoku. That's going to give us a little bit more insight. Okay, so the half hour. The half hour for 2 days, you can see we have been below the cloud and below Kijun-sen on the red. And that is negative. So in other words, that is a, basically we're moving to the downside, so the market is bearish. We did get this double bottom, and the target for the double bottom is played out. Remember, the target for this would be from here to there. The minute we broke above that, there is the target there, and you can see that we hit it once and then we've broken through it. Okay, and it also basically closed this gap up here. So that is kind of where we are on the half hour, and we are still below the cloud, or we're in the cloud. So, and there is divergence here. So the big thing is that your Kijun-sen, which is the faster moving average, is still pointing up, but we've got Kijun-sen, which is flat, pointing down. We've got a twist. We have broken through cloud with Chikou span. So I'm expecting pretty much something like this. Somewhere along here, along the top of the cloud, and lining up with these areas here. And bear in mind, if I just pick up my inside bars, and this is also an inside bar at the top here, those are the levels that I'm looking at. So it's basically going to range from 11,542 to 11,553. Okay, now you can see the oscillator here is in overbought territory, so I am expecting some kind of a pullback. It could just be one bar, it could be a couple of bars like it was at the start of the trade yesterday. Okay, and I think the critical thing here is, if you notice, low, lower low, and we've got a lower high at the moment. So we need to get through these levels, okay, for us to have a half decent trend change. On the hour, you can see we bounce off the bottom of the cloud. And this is another reason why I like the hour when we start looking at Ichimoku, because it gives you a better, better levels to trade off. And at this moment in time, we are flat Kijun-sen and Chikou-sen. There's nothing to read into that. And just want to get rid of the noise. And Chikou span is in price, so there's nothing to read into there. And this cloud is still red. So there is a chance that we bounce off this level back down. And the area that you're going to want to watch is going to be this fractal still. Okay? Because a break below this fractal will break below the cloud again and break below Kijun-sen and Chikou-sen. Oscillators are in the overbought territory. So there is a distinct possibility that we do have some form of a pullback. Maybe a one bar pullback, could be more. So in other words, this little consolidation phase here, now what this is all telling you is that this channel that is forming here could just be a flag. Okay, and it could be a flag for this area here, which means we come and test the lows again. Okay, this is again, if I look to the left, most logical thing. And then the other one would be the bigger move. But I don't think that the probability of the bigger one playing out is, it's there, but let me just do that so we can see where it comes. There's nothing much to the left. There's a couple of tails here which could indicate that. But the reason why I say it's not a very high probability is because we've had a consolidation here, okay, and we have broken through. So this bottom here, this top, so we consolidated, we broke through, now we're back in this consolidation phase. So and to me, this is looking more of a case of a potential inverse head and shoulders forming. Okay, so let's get up to the higher time frames. And again, here is where the ichimoku really comes into its own. So if we look at the 4 hour, and the 4 hour is the one which I like to take my trend off, you can see we came down, we broke through the cloud, we came down, tested the break of the cloud. We have had a crossover, a bearish crossover of the ichimoku and, sorry, the Dickinson and Kijinson, so it's a blue and red line. But we've also had a twist in the cloud, so the future is green. In other words, the future is looking bullish according to Ichimoku, and we also have Chiku span that is through price and now needs to get through. Yeah. So my take on this is basically what I pointed out just now. Okay, and taking it from there, it's a wedge, and taking it from there, it is a channel. Doesn't really matter, they're both consolidation patterns, and what should be happening here is we should be looking for this level here. Okay, so that's what we should be looking for. Personally, I would probably take first lot of profit on the 4 hour 200 EMA. Okay, so that's kind of what I can see at the moment. The oscillators are sort of indicating a different story at the moment. So we've also got continuation diversions brewing here. In other words, there's a high, there's a higher high, although this isn't set yet. So, you know, again, it just brings me to the point that I'm expecting another move to the downside. And it could kind of be that kind of thing. So in other words, another move to the downside, come back and test this area again, which is 11,470, and then build a base here for my swing trade to start. Okay, so if we do break above this fractal, in other words, get a 4 hour close above this fractal, then this trade is on, in my opinion anyway. Okay, then it's a long, and I'm looking for it to get up to there. Okay, and yeah, that's my view on the DAX for now. Oh, and you see there is another target on the daily, which is pretty much the previous high here, because that is Kijinson. Okay, so when we look at the daily, you can see a flat cloud, Kijinson, Dickinson flat. So, you know, there is potential for a bigger move to the downside on the daily as well. And then on the 4 hour, there's not. And basically, we had a V reversal here, and V reversals are rare on the daily. So, yeah, there's many things, but I think what could basically happen is we could still break up, rally a bit, and then fall off for our second daily bottom before building a base. And changing direction. Okay, so that's kind of my view on it for today. And we'll just close off with a quick summary on it. So I'm expecting on the half hour, I'm expecting this level to continue for now, but I am watching these fractals to the bottom here, so there and there. So these levels to the bottom, 11.437 and 11.484, those are the two levels to the downside I'm watching. Okay, and then obviously the one that we're looking for the top is going to be this fractal is broken. For all intents and purposes, that fractal is now broken. So I would expect a little bit of a pullback, hold this bottom fractal, and then another rally to the upside. Okay, that's kind of what we're looking for. Just pay careful attention to the levels. Pick them up on the left. Pick them up off the 1 hour or the 4 hour, because that is going to give you the better setup. If we do get another crossover here today or tomorrow, that is going to be extremely bullish, because the cloud will be green, checker span will probably be through the cloud, and the crossover is above the cloud, and that is a very bullish signal. Okay, anyway, that's my view on the DAX for today. I hope it helps, and I'll catch up with you later. Cheers for now.